Yeah, I'm gonna show you the perfect stock. I'm gonna show you Taser. I have it in my database. Now it's called AAXN. I'm gonna show you the perfect stock. This thing had several high tide flags. I'm gonna show you guys. Okay, pay attention now. Whatever you're doing, stop it. I'm gonna show you guys, something. Instead of reading a whole book about it, instead of buying this book, the perfect stock for 423, I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna show you the perfect stock. Okay. This is what I've been talking about daily. This is from my Evernote database. Okay, Taser. So Taser went from like, I don't know, 50 cents to over 30 bucks inside of a year. That's like a 60 bagger. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys something. Pay attention. These are things I keep talking about every day. This is like 2001. Okay, that's okay. So yeah, it went from like 35 cents to over, that was almost 100 bagger in a year. Okay. Now pay attention now. Do you remember I keep talking about the 10 and 20-day moving averages for momentum stocks? Pay attention. This yellow line is the 20-day moving average. Unfortunately, I don't have the 10-day here, but you can just imagine the 10-day goes something like this. It's above the 20-day, okay? So this is a high tide flag. You see how it's surfing the 20-day, goes sideways, builds a flag. This is a flag, okay? Now, this goes up. This thing pretty much doubles, pulls back a little bit, starts surfing the 20-day again, builds higher lows, gets tight, breaks out again. High tide flag, okay? Pulls back, undercuts the rising 20-day. Keeps going higher. Oh, and on this chart, apparently, I have the 10-day. But anyways, it keeps riding the 10-day moving average higher. Pulls back, finds support on the 10-day, goes sideways a bit, builds in a higher low, finds support on the rising 20-day, builds a higher low, or builds a series of higher lows, puts in a tight range, breaks out on volume, boom, you have another high tide flag break. Goes up about 50-60%, pulls back to the rising 20-day, builds a series of higher lows, tight range, breaks out again. Okay? So it goes from what, 750? So it more than doubles in a month, okay, from this high tide flag. Pulls back again to the rising 20-day, undercuts the rising 20-day, but puts in a higher low, reclaims, builds in a tight range, builds higher lows, breaks out again. And this time it more than doubles again. Okay? This is why I keep talking about the rising 10 and 20-day moving averages, higher lows and tight ranges. That's literally all I talk about every single day. I just saved you $4 and probably hours and hours of time. You don't need to buy this book. Follow the rising 10 and 10-day moving averages. Boom. This is a perfect stock, okay? I agree with the book. This is a perfect stock. I just saved you several hours of time. Now go find those setups. Do you regret all the time? Nah, not really. I learned a lot from games. If I hadn't played World of Warcraft, I wouldn't have become a successful trader. I'm telling you guys. I learned a lot from World of Warcraft. Anywho. Yeah. Looks like the spec money is starting to go crazy again. A lot of these specs are triggering and this and that. How does it translate to trading? Well, you figure out the mechanics. What you do on World of Warcraft, you want to become a good player, you have to figure out the mechanics. You have to understand the numbers behind. You have to understand like all the mechanics of the different like classes and the equipment and all of these things, how all these mechanics work, like armor and critical damage and this and that and blah blah yada yada. That's the same thing you have to do with the stock market. You have to figure out the underlying mechanics, and then you can, just as in World of Warcraft, you have to exploit the weakness of your opponents, right? The same thing, you exploit the stock market. You can get an edge. If you understand the game, you have a big edge over someone who doesn't understand the game, right? Same thing in a stock market. If you understand the mechanics behind, you can exploit them. Well, not exploit them, but you can use it to your advantage. And then you combine it with a grind. You have to, there's a big grind. If you haven't played World of Warcraft, yeah, it's a lot of grinding. Let's just say that. You better have no life. If you want to start playing World of Warcraft, make sure you have no life. Goes for trading too. It's much easier if you have no life. I can't imagine people having families and being like middle-aged, having jobs, starting trading. It's kind of crazy. I was lucky. I started when I was in my early 20s. I was single. I didn't have any mortgages. I didn't have any of that. I could focus on just trading. That's the key. You really need to focus. Spending a few hours per day, it's if you want to, it's hard, man. It's hard when you have 3 girlfriends. Yeah, I can't imagine starting trading having 3 girlfriends. I feel for you, man. Yes, I did have a job, but I kind of stopped going to my job. Exactly, you have the DPS rotations. Exactly, yeah, and you have to like optimize the gear, right? Different combinations of gear and the talent tree, all of these things, and then and in PvP you have to understand the other classes' talent trees and rotations and stuff like that. So it's a very complex game. It's super complex. It takes a lot of time to become good at it. It's the same thing with the trading. With trading. Yeah, it is true. The stock market is pretty much a video game. You kind of, in a way, in a way it is. Like you can. It's like yeah, you figure out the mechanics. You figure out how things work. Obviously, you're never gonna figure it out completely. There's always gonna be a lot of random things happening, but certain things repeat over and over again. Certain patterns, certain themes. And once you understand that, you can use it to your advantage. Once you understand it, you can have a big edge. And most people, they never bother learning. They just do random shit based on, I don't know, they follow other people, they follow alerts, they follow their gut feeling, but they never really spend, a lot of time trying to understand, how do stocks move? They never spend, most people don't spend any time getting an edge. Just do random things most of the time. And sometimes, like this year, there's a lot of, newly minted millionaires just because the market has been right for certain type of aggressive behavior. It's been very forgiving. And 95%, if not 99% of them are going to give it all back. Eventually. Because they don't have any edge. What they're doing is just gambling, and they've been lucky for now. That's exactly what happened in 99, 2002. A lot of people made fortunes. People quit their day jobs, day trade, and most of them, they just gave it all back. And some gave even back even more than they made. Yeah, VLDR is setting up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like World of Warcraft. There's new expansions coming out every couple of years, and the game mechanics change. And it's the same thing with the stock market. You have to adapt. What worked a couple of weeks, a months ago, or years ago may not work in the next couple of weeks, months, or years. Now look at how it's surfing the 10-day. Like the 10 days, it's so important. Look at how it bounced off the 20-day here. Like the 10 and 20, they're so important for these growth stocks. Like look at Mara. Look at the 10-day and the 20-day, right? GBTC. Look at the 10 and the 20. Look at how it surfed the 10, bounced off the 20, bounced off the 20. Fubo. Look at how it surfed the 10 and bounced off the 20. Look at QS. Look at how it's surfing the 10-day. Look, Snapchat. Look how it's acting around the 10 and 20-day. Riot. Look at how it's acting around the 10 and 20. Square. Look at how it's surfing the 10 and 20. Look at this here. Look at how it's surfing the 10 and 20 all the way up. And here it found support on the 50. So 10, 20, and 50 are really important for these momentum stocks. Silo too. Look at how it surfed the 10 and 20. And the 50 also. You can trade these things so many ways. You just have to work. This is why you need to study thousands of leading stocks from different market environments. They all act the same way pretty much. And then once you learn how these things move, you can trade them in so many ways. You have to put in the work. You can't just do some random bullshit, put some bullshit indicators out there and think you're gonna make money. That's not how it works. If you don't know how stocks move, like how they're supposed to move in certain scenarios, no indicator is gonna help you. You need to learn how stocks move, and then you can use indicators as a guide. CRNC yesterday breakout. Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't really a good setup. It's not really. It's an okay momentum stock, but I think there are. I mean, the growth isn't that good. If you have a growth stock setting up, I would recommend trading the growth stock, like something like this. It's just too random to me personally. I prefer to be either in a really hot sector or just in the growth names. Like most of these are growth names. This thing has triple digit. Like if you just look at my portfolio, this thing has triple digit EPS and revenue growth. DraftKings, almost triple digit revenue growth. DQ, triple digit revenue and EPS growth. Well, actually last quarter it only had 50% revenue growth, but still 175% EPS growth. Fastly, 42% revenue growth. And also really hot sector with what's it called? Same sector like network as a service. Peloton, look at this, triple digit EPS revenue growth. Zillow, triple digit EPS growth. It actually had negative revenue growth, but it's still good momentum and stuff like that. TQQ is a Nasdaq ETF. Doku, triple digit EPS and mid double digit revenue growth. PLDP, well, it really doesn't have much growth or revenue growth, but it's a hot sector, fuel cells. Square, double digit EPS and triple digit revenue growth. BE, not much growth, but it's in a hot sector, fuel cells. Snap, triple digit EPS growth, mid double digit sales growth. FNGU, this is a FANG triple ETF. Futu, look at this. Quadruple. When market Smith says 999, it means 1,000 plus. They only have room for 3 digits. So quadruple digits, 1,000% plus EPS growth. That is insane as fuck. 276% revenue growth. Okay. Riot, this is a coin related name. Fuel cell, hot sector fuel cells. Duh. QS, like the hottest battery stock out there, and batteries are like the hottest sector out there. Fubo, 950% revenue growth. Okay, Mara, coin stock, GBTC, Bitcoin ETF. EPS means earnings per share. It's year over year. Year over year. All these numbers are year over year. I get them from MarketSmith. I'm gonna show you like Fubo. This is like Fubo. They just launched their product or service or whatever it is. So now they're ramping up sales. Look at this thing. They went from like nothing to like 44, 61 million in sales. That's insane. Look at this Futu that I talked about. Look at the numbers on this thing. This is like insane. Look at these numbers. Crazy numbers. Crazy, absolutely crazy numbers. Something like Square. Like this is year over year. So last quarter had 36% EPS growth compared to the same quarter the year before, and 140% revenue growth compared to the same quarter the year before. And also you can see the estimates, right? So, you know, the estimates are also really important because you can have very high current growth, but if the estimates are, you know, gonna be down next year or the year after, there's no reason for the stock to go up. So the estimates are also very important. You also want rising estimates, and sometimes also stocks that don't have much growth right now, but they have high estimates, those stocks can also make big moves. I don't really have an example right now, but like AMD, this is the one I was really bullish on a couple of weeks ago, but then I kind of sold it just because it was a slow mover. But look at this thing. Look at the estimates. 92% EPS growth this year, 48% next year. And look at this, triple-digit EPS growth, mid-double-digit revenue growth. Like most things I buy, like you know, I rarely buy something like CRNC. It's just too random of a stock. Yes, it has good momentum and everything, but even if you get a good setup on a random stock, you know, it's probably not worth it. Especially if you can choose from like these growth stocks. Like if you have plenty of growth stocks and then you have some random stocks, focus on the growth stocks. Because earnings are fuel, okay? You need fuel. You need a reason for something to go up. Stocks don't go up just because there's a certain pattern to it, okay? You find the stocks that have a reason to go up, and then you look for patterns on those stocks. Because patterns are just something you know that can increase your odds of success and then can maximize your risk reward. You want to get all the randomness out of trading. You want an edge. If you want a big edge, you know, you kind of have to do these things. You don't have much room for error. You can't do random things. If you want to make millions, you don't even have to know what the hell level 2 is. It's a total waste of time. Because, guys, you have to understand, those guys, they sell services, okay? They sell complexity. They create an illusion that trading is super hard, which it is, but it doesn't have to be complicated, okay? Trading, you can make millions per year by doing very simple stuff. Depending on how big your account is, obviously. I'm not selling anything, you know, I'm not selling complexity. So I don't really give a shit. Yeah, exactly. Why did you enter? Well, I saw it on the level 2. Why did you exit? I saw it on the level 2. What you need to do is learn the patterns. That's what all you need to do. You don't need level 2 to see the patterns on the 5-minute or the 60-minute or the daily chart. I say this on every stream. I'm gonna say this one too. You need to go back, look at thousands of stocks, okay? Go back 20, 30 years on thousands of stocks. Just look at the patterns. You're gonna develop 3 to 5 setup ideas. where you have an edge, setups that occur over and over again, every market cycle, every year. You don't need level 2. You don't need a guru. All you need is to do some hard work. What are your tips for anyone who wants to... Okay, easiest one. You need to research the markets. Okay? You need to do what you need to do is you need to get the TC2000, look at the monthly chart, then you put up the watch list US stocks. You go through every US stock, and then you can have instead of a volume, you put a dollar volume here. And then you look at stocks that have at least say $1 billion or whatever in monthly dollar volume, or 5 billion or whatever, 10 billion. Just to get the more liquid names, so you avoid all the super thin ones. And then you go through all of these 49, 46 stocks, okay? And what you're gonna look for are the stocks that say at least doubled in 6 months, or went up 200-300% in a year, or 400-500% in 3-4 years. You're gonna create a separate watch list for every single stock that made big moves. Okay, maybe you're gonna get 500 or whatever, 300, 200 stocks that are liquid. You're just gonna go back to to the 90s or 80s. And then you're gonna look at chart patterns. Like, how do stocks move? Because stocks move in a very specific way. You get the same chart patterns occur over and over and over again. There's nothing new. You get the same chart patterns. There are some variations of them, but you got the same chart patterns in the 90s as you get today, right? That's the first thing you look at, just price action. Like, you can put some indicators on, like I use the moving averages, but you can use whatever indicator you want. Don't use too many, okay? Too many indicators is for suckers. Use a few. I would recommend moving averages. And then you look at this, the biggest moves, and look at how did they act. Like, when they pulled back, like how do they act in a pullback? Which moving averages do the best stocks obey, right? You look at all of that stuff. You build a database in your head. You spend 1,000 hours doing that. Just, print the charts out. I have a big Evernote database with thousands and thousands of them. Like, I have thousands. Like, I have, tens of thousands of charts, right? And then you start looking at fundamentals and news, etc., etc. Like, what is driving? What makes a stock go up 500% in a year, right? You spend another 1,000 hours doing that, and boom! Before you know it, you're gonna have $10 million in your accounts. I promise. Wait, like, I'm gonna show you guys the power of relative strength. Like, you need to understand this. For those of you who don't. You need to believe in this. Why did I buy Beely? Okay, once the chart looks good, it's been one of the strongest. Very linear. It keeps riding the 20-day. It built a range share. It's a growth stock, very good revenue growth. And I'm gonna look at these 2 days, the 11th and 12th of this month. This and this. This is the day when the Nasdaq and the markets overall pulled back. This is the 11th and this is the 12th. You see these 2 big red days. What did Beely do? It tried to go lower on Thursday on that big red down day, couldn't. Found support on the rising 20-day. On Friday, when the markets kept going down, this thing actually broke out. This is where I bought it. Oh no, sorry, I bought it the day after, I think. No, I did buy it this day, and I think I added on the day after. I don't remember, but that's relative strength. The stock is literally yelling in your face, "I want to go higher." That's what it. All you have to do is listen. All you have to do is listen. And there's so many of these. Livongo was another one. It was literally yelling in everyone's faces, hey, I want to go higher. I have tripled in a few months. I've been building higher lows for a month. I've been building a range for a month. And when a market went down big in 2 days, I didn't go down at all. What is the stock telling you? All you have to do is listen. 3 setups that occur over and over and over again. They occurred 10 years ago, they occurred 50 years ago, they occurred 100 years ago. And I have the proof because I've done my research. For some reason, people don't do their research. They just keep trading and doing these random things. And like I realized, like, after the first year or two, I did these random things. I followed other traders, but thankfully I realized, like, I need to figure out how stocks move. I need to go back historically, look at thousands of charts, and actually get a feel for what do stocks move on? How do they move? And I'm still working on it. I've done it for 7 years now. Most people are not willing to do that. They do a bunch of random stuff and they get a bunch of random results. You want to make millions, you gotta work for it. And once you get it, like once you really get it, you're gonna make so much money, you don't know what to do with it. I promise you this, guys. I started with like 5,000 first time I started in 2010, 2011. I blew up 4 times in the first 2 years. And now in the past 2.5 months, I'm up like 6 million. Like pretty much a third, or pretty much 40% of all the money I made in the markets I made in the past 2.5 months. That's compounding. If you double 100K, you're gonna have 200K. If you double 5 million, you're gonna have 10 million. If you double 10 million, you're gonna have 20 million. And that's what happened to me, pretty much. Oh yeah, the taxman is very happy. I don't do a lot. I bought an expensive car. I bought a 170K car recently. I'm gonna get it in 6 weeks. Other than that, I'm not. I bought a house. I don't do really much. I just enjoy life. You know what the nice thing is with having a lot of money? You don't have to worry about money. Like every day I make a decision, like, should I trade today? So far the answer has been yes every day. But there will be a day I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna do something else, right? And just that feeling, having that freedom to choose, 95% of people don't have it. 95% of people are not free. They have to be at a specific place, at a specific time, or they're fucked. Yeah. Anyone can do this. I promise you guys, anyone can do this. You just have to put in the work. Stop following the news. You know, unfollow all of these fucking idiots on Twitter that are calling for this and that. Just follow quality people on Twitter. You know, it's gonna take years to determine who's quality and who's not. But you know, you have to, like every opportunity, you have to learn. Like you have to assess, is this working? What is working? What's not working? You have to study past action. Like I said, the same patterns, they repeat over and over again. I'm pretty much doing the same thing over and over again. I have 2 main setups, okay? Breakouts. They could be either earning scappers, or they could be like these high tide flags I've been trading lately. Like I've traded a lot of these, both of those setups. But it's the variation of the same, you know. And then the meaner version setups, like we've seen it on Nicola the past few days, where I've just been, you know, traded the exhaustion gap, and I've been adding on the backside. And then on NCLH and all the cruise lines, airlines today. This is also the same setup, just in reverse. Those are the two, or let's just say the three main setups I trade. And I also have some variations of those. So just like 3 setups. I'm doing it over and over and over again. Ditch what doesn't work. Keep what's working, right? Scale out when the trade goes for you. Get stopped out when it doesn't work. And your money starts compounding. Like, do the math. If you double your money every year, like no matter what your starting sum is, if you double your money, and you can easily double your money. Like, I think my average return over the past 7 years is like 200% per year, pre-taxes and pre-expenses. So, but let's just say that you double your money after tax and after living expenses. Just do the math. Like, how much are you gonna have after 5 years, 10 years? That's what's possible. You just have to believe it. You have to believe you can do it. And that's why you need mentors. You need role models. Because it's kind of hard to come to the market not knowing anything and just following these random day traders that front run you. You know, you're not going to compound your money. You're going to compound your losses. And even if you make money, you don't know why you made the money. It's just pure random luck. Oh yeah, I've had many mentors. Like, I've had probably, you know, a dozen mentors along the years. Like, I've taken 1 or 2 key concepts from everyone, and then I moved on. Like, implemented something that made sense to me, implemented in my trading, and then I moved on. And I'm always looking for new people. Like, opening range highs, like, I read a book, or I read somewhere, like an article, there was a guy that made like, you know, a personal net worth of like $1 billion. All he traded was the opening range highs and opening range lows. And now he's a fund manager. Like, but he did it on futures and commodities and stuff like that. But that's the concept I got from him. Like, he even wrote a book about it. I don't remember the guy's name. It's pretty interesting. He's just a random guy. He started with his own money, and then he made a lot of money, started a fund. That's where I got that concept. It's a great for, you know, risk management purposes. Catching new trends early. The earnings scalper trade that I got from StockB. The parabolic shorting, those are like from different guys. Like Tim Sykes is where I learned it first from, and then a lot of other people have reinforced it in me, like Investors Live, Investors Underground. That chat room I learned a lot. Yeah, you should just sit, you know, look for the big past movers in TC2000 on the monthly chart, and then you go to Trading View, or if you get E-signal, you can look at the daily charts. And you just look at the patterns. It's the same patterns over and over and over again. Exactly. What do you do with all the money? That's the point you're gonna get to once you start thinking in terms of setups. $300% on average every year. Not every year, but yes, on average. It's not crazy. It's totally doable. Once you start thinking in terms of setups, and it won't be crazy. What's crazy is people buying and selling random stocks because of random data points. Oh, it's going up. Oh my god, I need to be in it. I'm gonna buy it here. Oh, it's going down. It's gonna go to 0. I need to sell it here. That's crazy. But if you have solid setups with solid entry and exit rules, with position management, with solid position management, risk management, you will have, you know, 100% year is going to be a very achievable. 200% year, 300% year, and a very good market. You can easily do 500-600%. And it won't be crazy. What most people do is crazy. Having good returns is not crazy. It's expected. Once you have a solid process. Was this a shakeout? Guys, stop looking for reasons. You know, Trump is irrelevant. You know, I bet the market would have been down anyways. Like these things, like markets are gonna be up or down every single day, right? Like down days happen, okay? There is no law that says the market has to go up every day. It's just a down day. Deal with it. Just a down day. We've had a, you know, it's just a down day. There's nothing special about it. Exactly. You just ignore all these events. They don't matter. Focus on setups. Focus on stocks. Tune out all the media. Tune out all the news. They're not going to help you at all. Exactly. Anything could happen. Right now, what I'm seeing in my stocks, in my portfolio, I'm very happy. I'm very happy, with the exception of Tesla, that I got stopped out in the you know, I don't know where I got stopped out, 419 or something like that. Okay, whatever. It was a small position. It was my smallest position, but still. Other than that, I'm very happy with everything. Like the leaders are leading, okay? That's what you want to see. I keep saying this daily. Ignore what the market, like ignore what Trump does. Ignore what Biden says. Ignore what China does. Ignore, you know, it's always something going on. There's always a reason, or, you know, the media always looks for reasons for markets being up or down. And those reasons may or may not be the reason why the markets are up or down. What you need to be focusing on are the setups, the leading stocks and the setups. Okay, that's all you need to be focusing on. And manage your risk. Markets go both up or down, up and down. They don't go only up or only down. There's always gonna be up or down days. You sound so smart, like David. Is David smart? Hey David, are you smart? Or no? Fiverr is green? Yeah, Fiverr. Leaders are leading. What can I say? Exactly. It's very hard to get out of the mindset. Like it's very hard to tune out like all the opinions and news. But once you're in the markets for a few years, you'll realize it's just all bullshit. No one knows anything. Like literally no one knows anything. Like even Warren Buffett says he has no idea what's going to happen from one day to another, from 1 year to another. He only knows that as long as companies create value, the markets are going to go up over time. So why would anyone in the news know anything, right? They would all be billionaires. They're not. They're living on a salary. David, are you dumb as a rock? Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. But that's okay, I like you anyway. The simple breakout method I'm trying to teach you, like every single one of you in chat right now, if you really put in the work and understand the nuances of the setup, understand when it works, when it doesn't work, when you should be aggressive, when you should be defensive, when you shouldn't be trading at all, right? It takes years to get really good at it. But once you get good at it, you're guaranteed you're gonna make millions, tens of millions, guaranteed. Most of you won't, because most of you, won't get it. Like, most of you won't put in the work, and many of you will give up when the market gets tough. Most of you won't be able to sit there and do nothing for weeks and sometimes some months on end when the markets are not good for breakouts. Most of you will be looking for the next shiny thing. Like, every day there are stocks moving, going up or down. And sitting there and doing very little or nothing for weeks and months on end, like, it's the hardest thing to do. It really is. I struggle with it all the time. And the funny thing is, this is like the efficient market hypothesis being proven wrong. Like, there's academics who believe in an efficient market, okay? Like, this was known. It was known their business is hot back in March. Protective mask. Look at this. This Dantes guy was on it back in March. Look at this, early March. Like, I don't care if the Dantes is a pumper. He's like super early on these things. And this is why I put notes on charts. Now, in this case, I missed it. Look at this thing. In March, the OMI website says, due to extraordinary demand as a result of recent world events. They even wrote on their homepage, and this Dantes guy was on it. And now they release blowout earnings. Now everyone wants to buy this thing. The efficient market hypothesis turned on its head. Dumbest theory ever. Hey guys, do you want a Friday P&L? You want a Friday P&L? Is it Friday? Yeah, it is Friday. Yes? No? But David, your opinion doesn't count. Of course everyone wants to see a Friday P&L. My job is to motivate you and inspire you, okay? And also brag a little bit. It's nothing crazy. I sized down a bunch of stuff yesterday, so. But I just realized Livongo is probably almost $1 million trade for me. But I sized down quite a bit yesterday. No brag, just fact, exactly. This is not bragging. It's inspiration, okay? No, but seriously. Like, if you don't see, like, the thing is, I didn't think it was possible to make more than like 10 grand in a day once I saw someone post it. Like, I remember someone posted a 50K day, like back in like 2013 or 2012. I didn't even believe it was possible to make that much money. So you kind of need to see these numbers. Like, this is my portfolio right now. Like, Tesla is red right now because I took a small loss on my short. Now I'm obviously long. I locked in a little bit on net. I took a loss on Workhorse. But right now, 3.3 million in unrealized profits. mRNA I'm down a little bit on, and MDB too. This is what happens if you have a solid process. If you have spent thousands of hours of studying the stock market, okay? Studying how stocks move. This is what's possible. I started with like 3-4K back in 2011. I had no idea what I was doing. I blew up 3 times, okay? This is not easy, but it is possible. You need to apply yourself. Like I said before, you can't be a mediocre trader. You can be mediocre in any other profession. You can still provide for yourself and your family. In trading, if you're mediocre, you're gonna lose money. You need to be at top of your game. You have to be among the best. You have to put in more hours than anyone else. And not just, you know, doing some random things. You need to study, okay? You need to study. Go back. Look at this. Look at big moves. Like Nvidia is a big market leader over the past 5 years, okay? Just go back. Study the weekly chart. Look, where did it find support? Look at this. Look at these magic lines. Look at these purple and yellow lines. You know, there may be something there, but you have to study it. You have to believe in these things. Look at the 10 and 20 and 50-day moving averages on the daily chart. Like these things, all these things, they move the same way, okay? You have to find these patterns. And once you learn the patterns, how stocks move, and when they move, and which stocks move, you're gonna make millions. But you have to put in the work. And the weekend is a great time to put in the work. Go study a couple of hundred charts during the weekend. Look at the weekly charts. Look at the daily charts. Look at the big movers. How did they move? Where did they find support? What did the breakouts look like? You can, I think TC2000 you can get for free. Otherwise you can use TradingView. It's also great. TradingView is very good if you, but they don't have any scans, I think. I think TC2000, the free version, is pretty good. What was my first big win back then? Back when? I pay 30% in taxes. Yeah, GSX is kind of starting to roll over. I don't want to short it over the weekend. I don't know. I'm not really. I think it's gonna find support on the rising 10 EMA and then it's gonna go higher. Tell us the worst moments. I'm gonna do that. Yeah, not today. Your daily P&L must be red. Where do you get that from? Or yeah, you know, it could be because I took a loss in Workhorse, and I also, I think, no, I don't think it's red. No, my daily P&L is green because my other stocks are up kind of a lot, many of them. Have a nice weekend. Yeah, you too, David. HMNY started. Well, HMNY is the stock that made me financially independent. That's the stock that started a run. Like I was stuck in a rut between, you know, for several years. I was stuck between 400K, 500K in account size. And then HMNY started a run where my account went from 500K to 5 million in like, no, sorry, not 5 million. 500K to 2.5 million in like 6 months, 5 months. HMNY started that. There were many other stocks too. But I already had like 400K in my accounts before then. Alright guys, but it's not about 1 or 2 trades. It's about making hundreds or thousands of trades in a year, right? It's about consistency. We're not here to get lucky. We are here to get guaranteed rich. Okay, if you want to get lucky, go buy a lottery ticket. Go do options a la Robin Hooder style. If you want to gamble, go somewhere else. We are here to get consistently lucky. Okay, we are here to develop an edge. Okay, pretty much I'm having 2 conversations on Twitch. It all boils down to, okay? Every question pretty much I answer with, because I'm not an alert service. I don't give a shit. I'm not here to scalp my followers. Everyone needs to, if you haven't done this yet, if you're struggling, if you're not getting the results you want, you get TC2000, okay? Click US stocks, okay? There's 4963, almost 5,000 stocks here, okay? Then you go to the monthly chart. and then you start looking at all the big moves. Every stock that made a big move, let's say doubled or tripled or in a short amount of time. Okay, you put in a separate watch list. Okay, you're gonna get a watch list of 1,000 stocks. Just go back and look. You know, there's gonna be thousands of, at least 1,000 stocks, because most stocks have made a big move at least sometime during their lifetime. Okay, you go back and look. The biggest moves. Obviously, the very liquid ones you can exclude. And then you go through that watch list. Look at the daily charts. You can get e-signal. On that one, you can go back on the daily charts, look at daily charts, and even intraday charts going back 10, 20 years, 30 years. Maybe not 30, but at least 25 years. And then you start looking for patterns, okay? And you will see the exact same setups I trade. They happen over and over and over again. And you're probably going to find your own setups. You're probably going to find at least 3 to 5 setups that occur over and over and over again. 3 to 5 patterns, okay? You need to build a foundation. You can't just trade blindly, not knowing, following some other trader, being in these alert services. No. You need to develop your own expertise. You need to develop your own setups, things you believe in, things you have back tested, that you know they work. That's pretty much all your problems stem from not knowing what the hell you're doing. All the ones who are struggling trading or don't have the results you want to have. You need to spend at least 1,000 hours doing that study. Okay? If you do it 3 hours per day, it's gonna take you a year. Okay? And you will have a skill for life. You will have a skill for life. You only need to do it once. And you probably won't have to work a day in your life. But you need to do this, okay? Yeah, all you can use bar charts, as Hype Stock Trading says, instead of e-signal. E-signal costs a bunch of money. Bar charts, I think, is for free. Yeah, I know. Right? Exactly. You're struggling because you don't know what to do. My job is not to give you fish. My job is to teach you how to fish. Eat that. I'm like Jesus. Dan Sanger, I think he's great. It's the same. I learned a lot from Dan Sanger. Love your stops, not your stocks. Best motto ever. It's the same thing. Again, Dan Sanger too. Like, he studied what works in the markets, and he made tens of millions in a few years. And he's probably made 100 million since. Well, he has there's a lot of articles on the internet, but you can also subscribe to his what I went through all his old newsletters from the 90s to 2012 or whatever. Every single newsletter, I just looked at what he looked for, the chart patterns. It's the same thing I look for now. It's just these simple patterns I talk about all the time. Like these channels, like you have a big momentum stock, goes up a lot, builds a channel. You have a big momentum stock, it builds a channel this way. You have a big momentum stock, it maybe does something like this with higher lows. You have a big momentum stock, it maybe goes up a lot and then maybe does something like this, you know, these triangles and channels, high tide flags. It's the same patterns over and over again. It doesn't matter if you learn them from Minervini, Dan Sanger, like it's the same things. Or Stockby, right? It's the same things over and over. It's just so easy. You just need to train your brain to see these patterns. On the strongest stocks. That's the key. The strongest stocks. Not some random piece of shit. Like, you know, people keep posting these random stocks that have these bull flags, but you know, you need the strongest stocks. You don't have an edge trading some random shit stock that happens to have a good short pattern. Like I get these, like every day people are posting and asking me about them. You know, it has to be a momentum leader. Just the same patterns over. Just look at the stocks I'm in, right? Nvidia, I bought it last week, okay? Very simple, a big momentum stock. Look at the pattern. What is it? You see this? You see this pattern? I bought it here. NIO, I bought it a couple of days ago. What's the pattern, right? You see it? You see it? I bought it on this day here, like somewhere here, right? Livongo, what's the pattern? Okay, I bought it here, so it was a little bit of a chase. Fastly, I bought it here. What's the pattern? You see this? D-Dog, where did I buy it? I bought it here. This wasn't a clean one, but it was showing relative strength. But again, the same patterns. You see, higher lows and Zillow. I bought it here. I also bought it here initially. The same patterns over and over again. There's absolutely no rocket science involved. Anyone who tries to sell you rocket science, you know, just unfollow them and run the other way. They're all frauds. They don't make any money. Same thing, you know, these simple patterns, triangles, channels, high tide flags. We bought Tesla here, right? Same thing. I bought Tesla here, right? Same thing. I've also bought Tesla down here. Same thing. This is the same patterns over and over again. All you have to do to succeed in the stock market is don't be a fucking retard. Really, I mean really, that's all you have to do. You don't need any intelligence to make tens of millions. All you need to know is risk management, portfolio management, and these patterns. And then you need to have sit out power when the market is bad. That's all you need. You literally need 5 things. And the CrowdStrike, where did I bought it? On this day here. You see the pattern? LAC, I bought it here. You see the pattern? I bought it here. Or was it here? I don't remember. Well, you know, it's the same thing over and over again. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Stockby I recommend. He's one of the good guys in this business. Exactly, exactly. All the Sanger, Jesse Livermore, Darvas, Roppel, O'Neill, exactly, it's the same thing. They're all momentum traders. They trade these momentum stocks, relative strength stocks, the stocks that funds are dying to get in, okay? You want the stocks that the funds want to buy, okay? The funds leave footprints. The big institutions, they leave footprints. Your job is to sniff out the stocks the funds are buying. You don't want some piece of shit random stock. You're never gonna make money over time. You want this. You want buyers coming in after you. So I just track these movers, the notable movers. And that's how you build. That's how you train your brain to understand setups. Like you track them. This is how you learn how to, what works and what doesn't work. You can read as many books as you want. You can go to as many seminars as you want. And I think it's necessary to get the grasp of the basics, but other than that, to really understand what works and what doesn't work in the markets, you need to do this. You need to track setups. It doesn't matter. Like, I track breakouts and episodic pivots mostly, and parabolic shorts. But whatever your setup is, you want to trade, you need to track it real time. You need to track those. See what works, what doesn't work. Not all setups work all the time, and that's how you learn. That's how you train your brain. No one else is gonna do it for you. You gotta do it yourself. You need to put in the work every day, every week, every month. This is not a game for the mentally lazy, like Livermore said. You can be of average intelligence, but if you're lazy, you're not gonna make it. Trading is hard. Trading is incredibly hard. There's a reason 99% of people who attempt trading fail. There's a reason. You really need persistence. You need to, take time to really study setup, study what works, and you need to be able to manage bad periods. Even the best traders have drawdowns. It's hard. It's frustrating. It's super difficult. And most people, I would bet my whole net worth that most of you who are in the chat room right now are not going to be trading 2 years from now. That's just the harsh reality. That's just the harsh reality. I'll be here. I'd like to see all of you be here, but it's just not, because you will already be rich. That's not really what I meant. Like, the thing is, look, some of you who are in the chat room are gonna be worth tens of millions more 5-10 years from now than you are now, but most of you won't be trading a few years from now. I'm 100% certain. But a few of you will make it really big, and a bunch of you will have some decent success. Yeah, not putting in the proper work, not taking time to study what really works in the markets. And most people just don't have the mentality for it. They want action all the time. They don't have patience. There's many reasons for why people fail in trading. There's hundreds of reasons. Short database. This is what it looks like. This is what everyone should do. You should go back, 20, 30, 40 years. Look at the big winning stocks, stocks that have doubled, tripled in a short amount of time or more, and just look for setups. Look like it's the same patterns occurring over and over again. And you need to build a database with those setups so you can review and just train your brain to identify these setups. That's all you need to do. There's no need to do anything else, right? This is, stocks move in certain patterns, and they have for 200 years, and nothing has changed. The patterns are exactly the same as they were for 100 years ago. They're exactly the same today. Your job is to identify these patterns. These are just some random IPO breakouts, like from the 1990s. Then you have like 2011 breakouts. Wait, like I have these different folders for different years and different themes. 2010 breakouts, right? So first I have like the weekly charts on some of these, and then I have the daily charts. And sometimes I have the intraday charts too, like the 30-minute. Like here is the 30-minute. Because I used to use the 30-minute a few years ago. Now I use the 60-minute. And I've been building this database for like 7 years now. It's a work in progress. There's just so many, you know, always adding new things, and I'm always, you know, removing. Like I used to have twice as many charts, but I removed all the like illiquid ones that I added when my account was much smaller. And that's what you need to do, you know. You need to put, you know, put at least 1,000 hours into this over several years. If you want to make big money, you need to put in the work. You have to do the work, okay? Not someone else. You have to do the work. I'm always getting asked, "Oh, can you share your notes?" No. You need to do it. You need to stand on your own two legs. Right? And I have, you know, probably tens of thousands of charts. Tens of thousands. 2017 IPO runners, okay? Another folder, right? Then we have non-lethal weapon stocks, body cam stocks, and you know, these things from 2014, from the Ferguson riots, when those stocks were hot. These are more like small cap pumps, not institutional quality stocks. Crypto stocks of 2017, late 2017 and January 2018. I made a lot of money on these stocks, you know. Double, triple, quadrupled my money in a few months. Thanks to these names. There was no need to trade crypto directly because the stocks made as big moves and they were much more liquid. You know, just, you know, a lot of good breakouts there, and also short setups. And then I have, you know, specific folder for these short setups, like these parabolic type of stocks. These are from like 1999, the brokers, Ameritrade, Schwab, E-Trade. You all need to do it. For every setup, you need to build a database. Thousands of examples, or maybe not thousands, but you know, hundreds of really good ones. And you know, then anytime you see a setup that you recognize, you're gonna get excited because you know, holy shit, there's a good chance I'm gonna make a lot of money on it, because you know, especially if it's a rare type of setup and it's really like a 5-star, you're gonna get excited. And you don't need to listen to anyone else. My goal is for every one of you to stop looking at my stream. That's my goal. I don't want you guys here. I want you to learn from me and then get the fuck off. Get lost. Because then I know I have succeeded. That's my goal. Okay? I'm not here to extract money from you. You are here to extract knowledge from me. And when you can stand on your own two legs, get the fuck out of here. Oh, you'll never leave me? Oh, god damn it. You want to be in a stock only when it's moving, right? The principle of swing trading, like stocks move in stairs, okay? Now this is an ETF, solar ETF, but this is, you know, it has a leg higher, goes sideways or pulls back. This is how all leading stocks move. Every stock that's made a big move moves this way, except for like micro caps and nano caps that can, you know, go up 1,000% in one day. Those, they trade differently, but this is how leading stocks move. Have a leg higher, it's like a stair, right? Go sideways, have a leg higher, go sideways, have a leg higher, right? Your job is to avoid it. Now, this thing didn't really have any like long sideways periods, but your job as a swing trader is to buy it just as the next leg higher is starting. Okay? You don't want to buy it here. You want to buy it here, just at the right time. You don't want to buy it cheap. You don't want to buy it expensive. You want to buy it right. Okay? Like, I see, I've seen some comments in the chat, in the past, like yesterday, I think, someone asked me if I like a stock, and, I was like, only if it breaks out from this area, and, that person said, hey, wow, well, I guess I can get in cheap right now. But that's not the mentality you want to have. There is, if you want to get things on the cheap, it works if you are like a value investor, investor with a long-term trading, like investing horizon. It doesn't work in trading. Okay, you want to buy it just right. You don't want to buy it here. You want to buy it here. This is how every stock moves. Let's look at some random stock, like I don't know, Fastly, right? This thing this thing I've traded several times. Had a leg higher, right? Went sideways. Then it gapped up on earnings. I know several people, including me, bought it on the earnings. Has another leg higher, goes sideways, right? Has a leg higher, goes sideways, has a leg higher. Then it kind of pulled back and, built a big sideways step. And where did I buy it? Right here. Right here is where I bought it. When it started breaking out of this step, right? And now it's building another step higher, And once you're able to identify these setups, you're gonna make so fucking much money. You're gonna feel filthy. It's all about pattern recognition and understanding what stocks you want to own and, what the patterns are. It's the language of setups. It's an art. And Genius, this is a microcap stock. It's the same thing. Had a leg higher. Oh, sorry. Had a leg higher. Had a little bit of sideways. Now, microcaps can move really fast. This is an extreme example. Had a leg higher. What the hell? Why can't I do a line? What? Weird. Had a leg higher. Wait, why can't I do a line here? Okay, now went sideways, had another leg higher, and that was the end of the move in this case. The same patterns over and over again. Getting out of... Guy, you shouldn't even trade Apple. It's ADR 3.2. You shouldn't even trade this thing. It's a good setup, but it's the wrong type of stock. If you want to compound your money aggressively, this is not the type of stock you should trade. You should focus on stocks that have ADR of 5+. If you have a solid process, solid risk management, you have back tested your strategy, either if you do it mechanically, if you're an algo trader, or if you're a discretionary trader, you do it manually. Like, you can trade whatever the fuck way you want, but you need it to be solid, okay? You can't do random things. Everything you do, there has to be a reason for it, and you have to prove, you have to be able to prove that it actually works, that it has worked for many decades, that it has worked for 100 years. The same setups I trade now, if I go look back at market leaders from the 1920s, it's the same things. It's exact same setups. If I look at the market leaders from the 1950s, it's the exact same setups.